I am going to narrate some scary incidents that happened with truck drivers. So to listen to the story till the end. And if you are new to the channel, then remember to subscribe to the channel. Let's start the story. This is from the year 2004. I am a mini truck driver. I was going from Delhi to Ramnagar. It was the month of June. It was very hot, even at night, so I had lowered the windows on both sides of the car. There was forest on both sides of the road. It was 2 o'clock in the night. The road was deserted. There was no other car in it except mine. I was driving for a long time, and I was feeling sleepy while driving. But somehow, I had to reach Ramnagar by 5 o'clock in the morning when my car was in the middle of the forest. I had a strong urge to urinate, so I stopped my car in the middle of the forest, and after getting down from the car, I started to relieve myself on the side of the road. Then, I heard a very loud scream of a woman from inside the forest. She was screaming for help, and she screamed at me. She was not far away, so I decided to help her, and I followed her voice into the forest. I called out to the woman and asked her to keep calling so that I could find out where she was. As per my request, the woman kept making noises and screaming. I kept running after her sound, but the strange thing was that the more I entered the forest, the more the sound was getting away from me. I had come deep into the forest, but I could not see that woman anywhere. Now, at this point of time, I started to suspect that something was wrong here. I called out to the woman and asked her to tell me her location. In return, the woman screamed again, and that voice was as far away from me as it was in the beginning. Then, I decided to go back and immediately started running towards my truck. But when I was running towards my truck, then I heard the sound of someone running from behind me. I looked back and saw no one. But when I started running back, I again started feeling that there was someone behind me. After that, I kept running without turning back. And when I reached near my truck, I immediately got into my truck. Then I looked towards the forest in the light of the headlight of the truck. I saw a middle-aged woman standing with the support of a tree in the forest. Her hair was matted and dirty. There were bruises on her face. There were torn, dirty clothes on her body. She had a big knife in her hand, and she was smiling at me in a strange way. Then she opened her mouth big and said loudly. The scream was exactly the same scream that I had heard earlier, just before she came running towards my truck. I drove my truck away at full speed. I looked back in the back view mirror to see the woman still standing on the side of the road. After that, she ran away into the forest at lightning speed. I took a sigh of relief after coming out of that area. By now, I had understood that she was not a normal old woman. She was definitely a witch. She followed me inside that forest. Remembering the knife in her hand and the blood on it, she was going to do something terrible with me. Even today, I get goosebumps. Although you must have heard the stories of many truck drivers, some stories may seem true to you. Some are false. But about what happened to me, I myself cannot believe that it really happened to me. Earlier, I also do not believe in ghosts. But now I understand why the elders used to say that only when I pass on my life, I understand. My name is Hariya. I may sound like a farmer by name, but I am a truck driver. It has been 43 years since I've been driving a truck. The scary sentence about which I am telling you happened about 37 years ago. I had left from Chandigarh for Himachal with a truckload. The truck was filled with sacks of grains. On my return the next day, I had to bring apples with me. Mine was a cleaner who was just 2-3 years younger than me, and I was also 26 years old. It was the first night trip for both of us. We left Chandigarh in the evening. Everything was fine, but as we entered Himachal, anyway, it started getting dark. The winding roads of the mountains and dense forest on both sides, and only our truck on the road. There was really no other vehicle on that road except us. So my cleaner went to the long seat behind the seat and slept for a long time. I was driving the truck, and while driving the truck, around 12 o'clock in the night, I also started feeling sleepy. I thought, why not park the truck on the roadside and sleep as well? Anyway, we were moving a little early from time, so I did. I stopped my truck on the side of the road, and while sitting in the seat, I closed my eyes and tried to sleep. It wasn't long before I woke up that I heard the door of the truck opening. I immediately went to sleep. I opened my eyes and saw that my cleaner was coming down from the truck. I called him, "Hey Nandu, wait man, I'm also coming." Actually, I too was feeling pressure. So I took water in a bottle, held a torch, and followed Nandu into the forest. I got angry, and Nandu was silently walking inside the forest. I told him, "Hey Nandu, how much deeper will you go? Come, let's sit here. And why didn't you bring water to wash yourself?" But Nandu did not answer. I went closer to Nandu, and as soon as I was about to place my hand on Nandu's shoulder, when the light of the torch fell on Nandu's feet, just then, I pulled my hand back. I understood that he was not Nandu. There was some illusion in front of me who had assumed the form of Nandu. In the light, I saw Nandu's feet. Both his feet were covered with hair like the feet of an animal. Seeing this, I slowly started moving backwards. Then my eyes fell on the lava. He also stopped walking, as he took his steps back, and so did his steps. I would take him back and lift his right leg and put it back. He would also lift his right leg and put it back. He was doing the same as I did. His back was towards me, but it seemed as if he was looking at me. I shined the light of the torch on him. I looked towards his head, and what I saw left my eyes wide open in tears. When I shined the torchlight on his head, I saw that 2 big black eyes were looking at me amidst the hair on his head. Just then I saw him. Nata. I threw the bottle I was holding in my hand there, and with all my might, I ran back towards the truck. That beast in the form of Nandu was also running towards me in the opposite direction. You can imagine. How would a man feel when he runs in reverse? He looked just like that. He was a beast. He had only 2 big black eyes behind his head. Somehow, while falling, I reached near the truck, and after climbing into the truck, I looked outside, and there was no one outside. No, that beast had disappeared. I don't know where. Suddenly, someone jumped on the roof of the truck with great force, and there was a loud sound. With that sound, Nandu, who was sleeping at the back, woke up. Yes, this one was the real Nandu. Nandu got up in panic, and he said, "Hey Ustad, what kind of sound was that? Who is there on the roof of the car?" I said, "Why don't you take out your head from the window and see for yourself? Hey, there are ghosts of ghosts up there." He laughed and said, "Ustad, there won't be a few ghosts. There must be some monkey. There must be a monkey. Wait, I will drive them away." Saying this, Nandu came out of the window and started looking at the roof. Then Nandu screamed loudly and then came back inside trembling. His eyes were wide open. I asked him, "Why did you see what was there?" Nandu swallowed the spit and said in a trembling voice, "Ustad, drive the truck." From here, I did the same. I started the truck and immediately drove away from there. For a long time, loud bouncing sounds were coming from the roof of our truck. Sometimes he would scream loudly on the roof, and sometimes loudly. His scream while jumping loudly was strange and terrifying. For a long time, we kept feeling that he was on top of the truck. But then, I don't know where he went. And then, after reaching a village, I stopped my truck, and then Nandu got scared and opened the window. I took my head out of the car and looked at the roof. Now, there was no one on the roof. That trouble had passed from us. After that, we breathed our last after reaching Shimla. I told everything to Nandu at night. How that beast took the form of Nandu, and how I followed him into the forest. Well, both of us ran away safely, and this was the most important thing. If my eyes had not gone towards his feet that night, I would have never seen him again. I can't figure out that he is not Nandu, but a ghost, and I get goosebumps just thinking about where that monster was taking me. If I had reached there, then I don't know what he would have done to me. Well, whatever happens that night, I narrowly escaped, and so did Nandu, but the incident of that night is still fresh in my mind, and remembering it even today gives me goosebumps. My name is Mahesh. Everyone calls me Monu. I am a truck driver. Although some ghostly incident happens with every truck driver, because those truck drivers often travel at night. I first happened with my fellow drivers. I did not believe in true scary experiences. Rather, I used to laugh at them. But an incident happened with me too, which gives me goosebumps even if I tell it. It was the year 2007. It was a summer day. One night, I was in Uttarakhand. I was going to Haridwar with the furniture and other belongings of a house from Haldoni city. A bank manager had been transferred, and my truck had the belongings of his house. I took my truck and left for Haridwar from Haldwani after 10 o'clock in the night. It happened that there was a run of about 240 kilometers from Haldwani to Haridwar. And then I had to come back also. So I was driving the truck as fast as I could. The manager had already left in his car with his wife and a small girl in the night. By 2 o'clock, I crossed Kashipur, and the journey after that was deserted. There were not many vehicles on this route at night, so I was walking slowly on that road. Although there was always a cleaner with me, but that day, a day before, someone had died in his house, so he had gone to his village. My truck was running in that deserted highway. It was a forested area. If there was any fault in my car in that place, and the truck stopped. So I couldn't stay there alone. That area was so scary. There was darkness all around. There was neither any market nor any village nearby. While walking on that deserted road, I saw a temple. I bowed my head in front of that temple, and my fear diminished a little. I had reached a short distance from that temple when I saw a person sitting on the side of the road. A man was seen standing. He seemed to be waiting for some vehicle. He was a passenger. Seeing my truck coming, he gave me his hand. I thought maybe he would need a lift, and at this time, he was not going to get any other vehicle, so I stopped my truck. The passenger came near the window of the truck and said to me, "Brother, I want to go to Haridwar. Will you take me there?" I also said yes. "Come and sit." The passenger got into the truck. I saw that he had a small pot in his hand, which was covered with a red cloth. What happened was that as soon as I saw him, I understood that he was a pot with bones. Had I known earlier that he had bones in his hand, I would not have made him sit in my truck. Well, now that he was sitting, what could I do? He moved his truck forward, and the man remained silent for a long time. So I broke that silence and asked him, "Brother, whose ashes are in your hand?" Hearing what he said in response to my question, my soul trembled for a moment. He said, "These are my ashes." I kept wondering for a few moments that who can roam around with his ashes? My heart said a ghost. I swallowed the spit and said to the man, "Brother, why are you joking? It is nighttime, and you are scaring me," he said. "Don't be afraid, brother. I am telling the truth. These ashes are mine only." I said, "Now, brother, how can anyone take one's own ashes? The ashes will die. After burning in the pyre, someone else immerses our ashes." Our family members or relatives said yes. They are right. I am dead. My last rites have been performed. But instead of immersing my ashes, my brothers took to the road. He had thrown it in a bush on the banks of the river, and if he had gone to Haridwar with it, it would have cost money, and his wives did not like it, so they did this. After hearing all this, I said, "Look, brother, your story is definitely sad, but I am torn after hearing it. Please do it. Get down from the car." And while saying this, I stopped the truck and looked at the man. But the man had now disappeared. It was a very scary thing. Not even half a second had passed since the truck had stopped, and the man had disappeared. But the pot containing the bones, was still kept on the same seat where he was sitting. I picked up the pot containing the bones with trembling hands and was about to throw it out of the window. But the next moment, I changed my mind. I thought that if I throw those ashes on the side of the road, that poor man's soul will never find peace. So I put him back in his seat, and looking at that pot, I said, "Sorry, brother, I was scared. I will throw your ashes in Gangaji. I will immerse you with rituals. Your soul will definitely rest in peace." Then I started the truck and left for Haridwar. This story is inspired by a true incident. One night, Shivam was returning home after attending the wedding of his office co-worker. He was returning home in his car. I was traveling alone. He had a beer bottle in his hand, which he was sipping from time to time. It was 1 o'clock in the night, and he was on the road. It was a deserted road. There was a big river on one side of the road and a dense forest on the other side. There was darkness all around. The road was clearly visible in the light of the headlight of Shivam's car, and in the same road, a car was driving away. Shivam's car was standing on the side of the road. When she reached near that car, Shivam saw a woman opening the bonnet of that car. She was checking something. Seeing Shivam's car coming closer, the woman came to the road and started giving her hand to Shivam's car. Shivam first. He hit his beer bottle and then stopped his car near that woman's car. The woman came near the window of Shivam's car and said, "Sir, my car has broken down. Will you leave me till further? There is a petrol pump ahead. I will take help from there. You just drop me to the petrol pump." Shivam took a good look at that woman's car. It was a black car. The woman felt that Shivam was nervous in giving her a lift. So she said to Shivam, in such an unknown place. You may be nervous about giving lift to a stranger. If you have network on your phone, please make a call for me. Actually, I don't have network on my phone. Otherwise, I would have called someone for help. Shivam knew this. That network is not available in that area of the forest. So he said to that woman, "No, you go and sit today." The woman came and sat in the seat next to Shivam. She said to Shivam, "Hi, my name is Monica." Shivam moved the car forward and said, "Hello, mine. My name is Shivam, by the way. Where are you coming from at this time?" Monica told that she is coming from Madhapur and was going to Kishanganj when her car broke down on the way. Then Monica asked Shivam, "By the way, where are you from so late in the night?" Shivam is coming sad to be from a friend's wedding. Then Shivam saw a police car coming very fast from the front. Then that car went in the opposite direction of Shivam, and behind the same car, there was an ambulance which went very fast in front of the police car. The woman who followed me said, "Looks like there has been an accident somewhere. Accidents keep happening on this road." Shivam said, "No, there are not that many accidents. I come through this road every day. I think I have been here for the last 1 year till now. There was no accident in which ambulance or police was needed. Now, yes, there was definitely an accident a year ago. A woman and her daughter were killed in it. It was a very bad accident." The woman said, "Yes, it has been a year since that accident happened today. Both mother and daughter were killed." Shivam looked at the woman with surprise. The woman smiled at Shivam. Then she looked at the mirror in front of her. Shivam also looked in the mirror, and seeing what he saw, his eyes widened with fear. Left behind, he saw in the mirror a little girl sitting behind, whose face was bruised, and her frock was soaked in blood. Then Shivam looked back at the woman sitting next to him, and saw that her face was also badly bruised. The incident of 1 year ago started playing before Shivam's eyes. 1 year ago today, Shivam was coming from a party. He had drunk a lot. When he was passing through this road, he saw a woman walking with her daughter on the road in front. The woman seen standing next to him was giving her hand to Shivam for help. Shivam tried to stop the car to help them, but he could not control the car, and Shivam ran his car directly over the two mother and daughters. After that, Shivam staggered under the influence of alcohol and got down from his car and went to the two mother and daughters. Both the mother and daughter were suffering badly on the road. Shivam did not want to get involved in any police case. Firstly, he was drunk. On top of that, there was an accident with his car. He did not want any trouble, so he went back to his car. He sat down and left both of them on the road to die. All these scenes were going on before Shivam's eyes. Just then, Shivam's car lost its balance, and it slid on the road and collided with a big stone on the roadside. And then his car took several turns in the air and fell away. And as soon as it fell, there was a huge explosion, and Shivam died on the spot. After some time, a police car and an ambulance stopped near Shivam's car. The policeman got down from the car, and Shivam, by the time he went near the burning car, the car was burning badly. The policeman told the other officer that it was strange that the woman had said on the phone that an accident had happened. But we searched the entire forest and did not find any accident. This accident also happened just a while ago when we passed by this place. This car was coming in front of us. It seems to be a case of drunk and driving. Leave it. Call the fire brigade. At some distance, the soul of that woman and her daughter. She was standing watching Shivam burning with his car. After that, both of them walked away from there and disappeared in the air. Friends, if you liked what I said, then do like it. If you have not subscribed the channel, then subscribe. There are many more interesting stories like this in my channel. Do listen to them too, and thank you for listening to this story till here.